jab, uppercut, leave you laid out on the floor. Try to duck and roll, hit and miss, now you counting stars. Should've practiced more, should've hit the mask, get out there more. Claim that you're the best. You gotta show me, son. Actions over words, baby boy. Is you real or what? Talking way too much, world come. Back sports, talking way too much, world come. Back sports, talking way too much, world come. Back sports.
What's good, everyone? WCS back at it once again. First in the building, Big Blunts and Boxing on deck. So, I laughed my ass off. Damn, OG, you got some gas up there. Laughed my ass off. Let me get some of that beat your ass and some of that it's over. Yes, sir. Unfortunately for me, I'm not as educated as yourself, but I will address some issues that I believe that is very relevant. Okay. And I hope everybody look and pay attention, right? As you want to donate to the channel doing this live stream, which this is one of the first times ever I'm talking about like a type of substance that I don't deal with on a daily basis. Like I just don't deal with this, but I'm going to speak on it in a way that hopefully it makes sense to me, you, and everybody else that may be eavesdropping. Shout out to Mr. Gumbo, aka Hot Grease, aka Mr. Sucker Free on deck in the building. Salute WCS and Big Blunts. My brothers, salute to you. Salute to everyone that pulled up. Shout out to the one and only, the XO Factory on deck, man. What it do in the building. OGW says, what's good, big bro? Y'all ran old boy off the panel today. Hey, I didn't run him nowhere. He chose to dip out, man. I don't know why he chose to just skedaddle. You know what I'm saying? Why you chose to skedaddle? You down for the smoke, but I don't have no smoke with this dude. You know what I'm saying? I really don't. But I'm going to attempt to talk about something that individuals smoke on a regularity. And look, I'm totally uneducated on this, really, based off the just common principles, you know, that I see just from observation, that I smell. Some smell good and some smell absolutely bad. You know what I'm saying? But the way I'm going to tie it in to what I believe that is going on the YTC, it may interest some of y'all. Real talk. So if you want to donate to the channel, my Cash App's flowing across, or you can do it via, super chat. Shout out to Mr. Gumbo, always supporting the channel. I appreciate you, brother. Mr. Gumbo, aka Hot Grease, with the $10 super chat. Salute to you, brother. Breaking news, IOTBA just outran Bolt and Cam still chasing him. Hey, Cam came in there freaking, it was already, Cam came in there with the green light on, goddammit. You know what I'm saying? Cam came in that motherfucker talking about, I'm for all the smoke. I'm from all the smoke. And I really didn't, that wasn't my business. I don't get another grown man business, but I did have some understanding on why they was mad. I did hear them talk about it on their channel at one time. And I said, that's typical. I knew that dude when we was just on Facebook. I really wasn't kicking it on YouTube. Yeah, I knew it way back when, man, when him and his mods was arguing at 2:30, 3 o'clock in the morning over some dumb shit. It just didn't make it's just dumb as hell. But don't, I ain't telling Cam don't do shit, man. Hey, whatever you choose to do, you do, man. He did right. He was talking about putting on some gloves. He wasn't talking about no street violence. He was talking about putting on some gloves. The apostles wanted to lay the hands. You know what I'm saying? What's wrong with that? But shout out to Mr. Gumbo with the $10 super chat in the building. Much appreciated to you, brother. Thanks for your support. Always. You know what I mean? I was waiting for Bruce Gas. See, Bruce, I'm gonna need some help from all the plant connoisseurs, why I speak about this, because it's not gonna be what you think. It's not gonna be what you think. This is the first time me ever doing a live on this stuff. You know what I'm saying? I'm just, this is like a combination of many things. You know what I'm saying? First of all, it deals with psychological freaking imagination. You know what I'm saying? And just putting a whole lot of things that I hear and listen to out here, the YTC, that really don't make any sense to me. So I believe that speaking about something that had people so involved, when they brought out the shirt, the Bud Pack, it's amazing how human beings, they put everything into context, evolving around the strand of the strain, everything topic, extremely hot topic, because you have individuals that converse every day about this stuff, and it's just like they're really talking about something that's it's all about, the way you used to talk about getting rims on your car, or the girls' numbers that you got, or the clothes you went to the mall and purchased. You know what I'm saying? What foods you like to eat. Now they talking about this right here. They talking about the bud. You know what I'm saying? They talking about the bud, bro. They're talking about the bud. They talk about bud like they breathing. For real. Shout out to Bruce Gas, Boxing Jazz, some more the OG in the building. Salute to you, Bruce. Shout out to Shaw News, the Sauce Experience, AK Showtime Shaw. What did I miss? Whose show was this? I like a good sparring session. This was OG Blood, man. Retro boxing and documentaries that was on earlier. And just so happened, this guy, I'm not going to give him too much shine. This guy was pictured for some reason. This guy was, his picture was shown. And you know who I'm talking about, Shaw. That was IOTBA. His picture was shown. So what the only reason I got on the panel is because he tried to pretend like he didn't know his picture is shown up over there, because him and Christine, I guess, had a falling out and they don't get along. So she put his picture up there and asked Bud what he thought about it. So he tried to act like, oh, for real? I got to go over there and watch it. I didn't know they put my picture up. Wow. And look, just like other people that we ran into, right? He tried to act like he was bigger than what he is. To my, oh man, we got the biggest fight in boxing and they talking about me. See what I'm saying? These motherfuckers always playing this clout type shit, bro. You know what I'm saying? Clown and clout go together. Clown. You know what I'm saying? That shit goes together, bro. It's the DBMH. What's good with it? So let's get down to this, right? I want to wait till I get at least about 10 people in so they can kind of understand where I'm at with it. And hopefully I'm able to stay on topic, because this is not something that I'm extremely educated in, but I have been living quite a long time. And, through life, I've seen different individuals that were my acquaintances, compeers, colleagues that have smoked on this type of recreational drug. You know what I'm saying? Tetrahydrocannabinol. Delta 9 tetrahydrocannabinol. You know what I'm saying? We've heard it, THC. All right, Delta 9 THC, tetrahydrocannabinol. So I'm not going to give you a whole scientific breakdown on this shit. I'm about to put some stuff together to try to find out some things. You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to find out some things when it comes to the way some of these people think on the YTC. I'm always about the exploration. I'm always about that shit, bro. I'm always about the exploration. Trying to go on an excursion and research type of shit and try to find out. So, as of recent, we pretty much understand that the talk of all talks, man, the biggest fight thus far, that's pretty much on register right now and scheduled on BoxRec and everywhere else is July 29th. Now, this has been stemming actively since 2022 when allegedly the first negotiation, everything took place. All right, we got it. We went through this, and this. Everybody thought they was a freaking manager, an advisor, and all this shit. And they was talking about all the little details they thought they had from their sources, right? So we get into 2023, of course, nothing too much takes place. So it's very limited information for them to obtain. You know what I'm saying? They may be able to have access to the same sources, but somehow those same sources refuse to provide them with new updated information, y'all. Okay? So since they didn't have updated information to rally the troops and push a narrative on how much each fighter was getting paid and the percentages, well, they had to go elsewhere. They had to start talking about other things. And that's where we get the information and the smear campaigns and stuff about opinions. You know what I'm saying? Negative opinions. And this high, it just spirals out of control. They didn't have any type of numbers, percentages about the fighters getting paid. But what I determined is that it was a lot of individuals on the YTC that was pretty much concerned about what Bud was getting paid. All right. They was concerned about what he was getting paid. They really didn't want this man to make a penny, but yet and still, he was able to go up here and renegotiate, re-enter negotiations with Spence to try to make this negotiation work to their benefit. In the meantime, we start to hear countless different type of narratives surface on the YTC. And being that they didn't have no new updated information, they start coming up with lies. And that, to me, became very, very extremely interesting, that they would talk about the lies. And the lies would be, they would talk about what they believe Bud didn't do last year, what he didn't do this year, being that we was impatient about waiting on the fight. They was trying to make some type of excuses some type of defamatory remarks, or run a smear campaign, or come up with lies, the untruth about who they believe is holding up this fight from happening, when in reality both fighters was in communication. Bud Crawford mentioned this. He said, I called him up in January. So if the man called him up in January, my natural thought is, well, you should do a live stream, you being a channel that is on a regular schedule of running a smear campaign on Crawford. You should come up and let the people know that, hey, I have an apology or 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 or 6 or 7 or 10, 15 or 33. You know what I'm saying? A 40, 48 and a half. I have 48 and a half, apologies to render, because I've been the one up here passing off lies on this guy. I didn't know what the fuck I was talking about. I'm passing off lies, but yet found out he was the one that called this man in January. I didn't hear that from a source. I heard it from him directly out his mouth. Then, we also have heard Errol Spence come out and say the things and admit to certain things that we've been discussing over here time and time again, that somehow the pro Spence channels became extremely irate. Threats was disseminated on here for a person that they never met. And I always tell people, like, how does this go from social media with people defending a man that they never had a personal connection with? I attempted to try to tie all this together, as in, like, was it the way that they was raised? You know what I'm saying? Were they born in the boxing, or were they joined in the boxing? I'm trying to tie all this in as to how they actually came acquainted with the sport. You know what I'm saying? And then if I can find out how they came acquainted to the sport, then I can figure out why in the fuck they so dumb about the sport and figuring out and understanding certain things about the sport and how it all works. And being that there's only two individuals that's going to fight in the ring, they're not going to fight for them. Even on the YTC, no matter what message or narrative you're trying to push, that's not really influencing them stepping in the ring. I haven't seen not one individual on here responsible for making a fight of this magnitude. I never, ever in my life, bro. I never seen it. I've been wanting to witness one channel on here, one individual be responsible for making a fight of this magnitude. But yet all I seen was individuals out here trying to play a role, trying to put on a masquerade, trying to pretend like they were the ones who made this shit happen. And they ain't. They never will be. So I basically collect data, right, of how these basically sides are acting, their behavior, and how cantankerous these individuals are coming. They're so mean and agitated and abrasive. And you hear bitch ass nigga this, hoe ass nigga that. I hate you. And he ain't shit. And this, that, and the other. Like, this has been, you know, a Wilder reflection like I experienced. How they was getting so personal with Deontay Wilder and people was choosing sides. You know, with Wilder, it's not like they supported Tyson Fury. It's just the fact a lot of people didn't like Wilder, right? So listen, coming around here, you actually have people who supposedly be supporting Spence and the ones who supporting Crawford. It's extremely different dynamic when it comes to Bud and Spence. It is. It's a different dynamic. Real talk. You have two sides who are at odds with one another because of simple expectations. You know what I'm saying? Simple expectations. The expectations are from the individuals who choose to believe that their favorite fighter will somehow and someday fight the other guy. And in the process of waiting for this day to materialize or come to fruition, we're going to be at war with one another, talking about two individuals that we don't have a personal relationship with. So during this time, you just heard these motherfuckers just talk and talk. You done heard the Crawford supporters and you done heard the Spence supporters. and you done heard the vortex, you know, meet. You've seen the nexus of friction. You've seen the freaking you've seen the frustration. You've seen the anger with this shit over and over again. And, you know, sometimes you got to sit back and think like, damn, what's making them so upset? What's making them so upset? Like, the fight has not been officially announced last year in 2022. But if you sit back and witness all the combative type live streams that was actually on, that is in the catalog of these channels, you will see individuals who are one mind, one body, and one soul. That means they're operating off one neurological headquarters, which is considered their brain, within the exoskeleton system and the physical anatomy and all the freaking examinations that we go through for health. You know what I'm saying? You're talking about high blood pressure. You're talking about stress. Look, you're talking about a whole lot of health deficiencies that can happen when people are putting an overextended amount of stress into these individuals that they never met in life. So you have to think to yourself, like, what is causing this shit? You know what I'm saying? What is causing it? So I said to myself, a lot of these dudes, they are stoners, man. They're smokers. For real. They are smokers. And I tied it into a recreational drug that has been legalized in so many places, which has made people's lives that much happier. I'm not a smoker, but for the ones who do, I understand that some of them, they know how to regulate. They know what I'm talking about with the strands. You know what I'm saying? With the THC, the Delta 9 THC. So let's get down to what I believe is the influence. I want to play an audio, and this is no way, shape, or form a shout out. I always let people know. I say their name. I don't really talk subliminally, but this is just a piece of audio that I want my listeners to hear, because I believe that these individuals may at one point in their life encountered, or they may be currently recreational users of one of the strands that I have depicted on my thumbnail. Now, like I said before, this is nothing. I'm not taking any shots at these people. It's not personal, any of that. I just felt their audio to be strangely unique enough for me to play the shit and try to figure out, what the fuck they talking about. You know what I'm saying? But it's nothing personal, man. It's nothing personal. This is just live stream. This is me trying to basically, get evidence for my examination so I can come up with a freaking a formula that brings me the results that I'm looking for, right? So take a peek at this right here. Just listen in on this right here. All right. And please try to maintain bearing and tact, because these individuals, right? They're good people. They're good people. But I just want to try to find out what type of psychoactive chemical that was influencing them to say these words out their mouth. What were they currently on? Was there a moment that they was going through something in life? I don't know what it was, man. It just didn't make any sense to me that two boxers, Bud Crawford and Errol Spence, would have human beings acting out of character.
And we ain't really seen EJ hurt like that. We haven't seen it. I'm gonna say that.
See what I'm talking about? That is Dub Right Side. Dub Right Side, please don't come over here in the chat getting all angry and shit. I already told you and ETB this shit ain't personal, bro. But you started off saying you never seen EJ hurt like that. And it's been plenty of fights where EJ was hurt. Plenty. The dude was dropped in the amateurs, bro. This is what I'm talking about. This is why I got the thumbnail up, bro. We're going to try to figure this shit out with the YTC.
I'm going to say this, Dub, right? Did you call me Bud? Did you just call me Bud? Hey,
see where I'm at with it? See, people take for granted, you see where I'm at with it? It's something ain't right.
I'm going to say this about Bud. Because John Norrie, he asked the question, why do you think Bud is the favorite, right? And I was about to say this before he even dropped that question. Because if you listen to a lot of the, quote, they call them experts, right? If you listen to the media, a lot of the ex-fighters, a lot of the, current fighters, they picking Bud. You know what I'm saying? Like, Bud is an overwhelming favorite if you just go around and just, ask people in the boxing world, right? And why is that? Not an overwhelming favorite. People like to go, oh, well, man, it's a close 50-50 fight, but I got Bud. Majority of the people saying that. Why is that? Well, the reason that is because with Terrence Crawford, especially when he was over there on ESPN, you see the Mike Tyson effect, the Fernando Vargas effect, the Zab Judah effect, right? All of those were good fighters, real good fighters. They was destroying the competition that they was fighting. All of them were destroying the competition that they was fighting. But what happened, Dub Right Side, when they moved up and they started fighting other A-level competition? They started getting fucked up.
So at this point in time when I was actually trying to ascertain what I was listening to, it brought me to certain type of recreational influences that may be very extremely active here on the YTC. And those are strands. Okay. People have plenty of names for them. We're just gonna call them Bud Strands, right? No attachment to Bud Crawford. I'm just keeping it simple. I'm not calling it any Mary Jane, all the other chronic, none of that. I'm just saying Bud, right? So I was saying to myself, I say these individuals to say what they just said, and for Right Side to respond the way he did, that he's basically listening to ETB tell him that Bud was over at Top Rank, and he compared him to certain other fighters that once they stepped up competition, they he asked him, they start what? He said getting fucked up. So if we're talking about Mike Tyson, okay, yeah, we can say, well, Buster Douglas had his night, but was he a step up in competition with a 42-1 odds favorite? I don't think so. But I'm trying to determine, like, were these individuals doing that dialogue under the influence of something? Because the way they're speaking on it, they couldn't believe what they're saying. Because if you look at Terrence Crawford's record, he's still undefeated as we know it. So when he responded, said they started to get fucked up, I couldn't quite digest what type of strand that he may be on based off the information, you know what I'm saying, and the misleading responses that was being given. Like, it really didn't make any sense at all that an undefeated fighter, 3 weight divisions, about to head in here with the biggest fight of his life, he's been getting fucked up when he stepped up the competition. So therefore, ETB, I said to myself, right? So he stepped up competition beginning with who? And then I will want you to try to explain, like, okay, if he stepped up in competition and you able to give me a name, are we starting with the 147-pound division, or are we starting with what his accomplishments was at 140? Who and what and when this is dealing with? But obviously, when you made this comment about Bud getting fucked up, I mean, you asked him about that, and he was influenced not to stand on his 10, but he said, they start getting fucked up. Right then and there, it didn't make any sense that we was talking about the same person. I was making an assumption that both of you was not in your right frame of mind. You wasn't sane enough to have a conversation live on the air, because you all are steadily creating these fantasy talks that you're talking about people that don't exist. You ain't talking about no Bud I know. You know what I'm saying? So you have to be talking about the Bud that's on the thumbnail, nigga. None of y'all are talking about something that makes sense, bro. When it comes to giving fighters their credit, both of these fighters, including Errol Spence, is undefeated. Both of these fighters are unblemished in their professional careers. So how can you make a statement and saying, well, they got the effect over there at Top Rank because, when they start to step up competition? Which one is it? Bud didn't fight nobody, or he actually did step up in competition? And if you're saying that step up in competition was Kell Brook and Sean Porter, well, y'all need to get on the same sheet of music, because a lot of people that's pulling for Mr. EJ, they tend not to think that Bud Crawford has done anything at all. Continue to listen.
They started losing. Right?
They started getting fucked up. Facts.
Same thing that we're seeing with Terrence Bud Crawford.
He said that's the same thing. I am not no way, shape, or form altering this audio. He's saying that's what we're seeing with Terrence Crawford. You know what I'm saying? I left the Bud out because I'm trying to find out which strand he was smoking when he made this shit public. What's going on? Are you under the influence? If you are under the influence, I would suggest that you hold off just a minute and make sure you're in sound mind and you can come down to a level that you can say some shit that people won't look at you like you deranged and you're not fit for duty, bro. The man is still undefeated. Now, I'm trying to figure out what is going on with the neurotransmitters, why aren't they able to concentrate on the truth? Because your mind, your mind can pretty much tell you, hey, this is the truth and this is a lie. But somehow, some way, there's mediation going on that's influenced by some. And I'm assuming it's a chemical. I'm assuming it's something that may have been smoking prior to you all having this conversation. That's why good is bowing before evil. You're unwilling to tell the truth. You're sitting up here falsifying information as if Bud Crawford has taken L's. I guess you're getting dark-skinned dudes confused. I think you might got Bud Crawford confused with Yadinas Ugas. I'm just trying to do some freaking investigation. That's all. Let me continue.
Like the first 2 years, it was all about business and all about work and all about development.
Hold up. Wrong one. Hold on.
And I don't really see EJ hurt like that. We haven't.
They was destroying the competition that they was fighting. All of them were destroying the competition that they was fighting. But what happened, Dub Right Side, when they moved up and they started fighting other A-level competition?
They started getting fucked up.
They started losing. Right?
They started getting fucked up. Thanks.
Same thing that we're seeing with Terrence Bud Crawford. It's the Mike Tyson, Fernando Vargas, Zab Judah, and like I said, I'm not shitting on those fighters because they all were very, very good fighters, right? But when they stepped up, they started losing. When they stepped up against other A-level competition, they started losing. Like, we saw flaws in all of those fighters, but we just didn't really dig into those flaws and really want to pay attention to those flaws because what they was doing, they was exciting and they was knocking motherfuckers out. So we tend to overlook things, but we just didn't really dig into those flaws and really want to pay attention to those flaws because what they was doing, they was exciting and they was knocking motherfuckers out.
So me listening and, like I said, trying to ascertain this, right? There has to be something going on. So me being uneducated from physical experience with on-the-job training with smoking bud, right? I had to put some information together myself to try to figure out what these two individuals may potentially be on when it comes to just talking boxing. Because obviously you're not talking about the active fighter that's about to step in here on July 29th. Obviously, you're not talking about the one who's, coming out the Bednar's favorite, the one that's been ahead on the pound for pound list, and the one that's still undefeated and has more professional wins than Errol Spence Jr. You cannot be talking about him. Now, what I can understand is that the chemicals that has been said to be put in these strains, right? No one really knows the chemical of each strain. So you have strain out here, and me being the type of thinker that I am, right? I said to myself, right, someone is creating these strains. Somebody are creating them, but I want to meet the person that is absolutely being the test dummy, right? The reason why I want to meet the test dummy is because I want to know if they took documentation and just kept a log or a vlog on them smoking this strand for the first time and how they fucking felt. Because I've been hearing that it's been a lot of these strains that has these chemicals in it and really nobody knows what the fuck it is. You know what I'm saying? Like, listen, it's been maybe 2 or 3 times that, way back in the day that I actually smoked, right? And I don't even call it smoking because, back then THC was the natural. It was just the natural shit that was in the bud or whatever. But I noticed when I smoke or seen somebody who smoked, the ones that I seen, it seems like you can tell that they was regular smokers because they would always have like a little gut on them and everything, and they seemed like they was get the munchies. And then I remember smoking. I say, damn, I'm hungry as hell. Man, let's go to Burger King. Man, I want to get me goddamn 3 Whoppers up in that motherfucker. You know what I'm saying? A bucket of fries. And goddamn, let's go to the CVS and get a full Coke, a motherfucking liter of Coke. I was hungry than a motherfucker, right? And now, with this type of strain of weed, you got niggas being skinny as hell. They don't even want to eat. Motherfucking go a week and a half and not eat shit. These dudes are maintaining a weight of 114 and a half pounds, bro. And they've been smoking for 10 years. And these dudes ain't gaining no weight no more, man. They grown fucking men with kids, and they still wearing the same size pants they did before they got married, bro. So I want to talk to the person who actually is testing these strains of bud, because I'm trying to determine how they felt. What was the difference from certain strands that they have documented before that they have tested? Because obviously something isn't right, man. These strains are coming up with chemicals that are mind-altering psychoactive type drugs, man. These chemicals combined together are lethal. They bring us to conversations like we're listening to right now. I'm assuming this may be the result of secondhand smoke from one of these strains that's on my thumbnail. Because I don't get it. I don't understand how you can see something with your own eyes. You're typing. You pull up BoxRec and you're looking at Bud's 10 straight knockouts. You're looking at his 6 title defenses. You know what I'm saying? You're looking at everything he's accomplished at welterweight. You seen him fight Jeff Horn. You know what I'm saying? And they got to give Jeff Horn credit, but you've seen him fight Jeff Horn and pick up the title. You've seen this man continue to achieve. But somehow, I'm guessing that one of them strains mixed with some other mind-altering hallucinant has affected these two individuals to the point where they really can't dial it in. They really can't speak competent enough to say, you know what, this is the truth about this fighter, and this is what I don't like. They're just looking at this fighter, Bud, as a person that really don't exist in their reality. They want this man to have losses. They act like what this man have accomplished up to this point don't exist. They look on BoxRec and they don't trust the freaking administrative staff that are inputting this information on BoxRec. Somehow, some way, they have witnessed flaws. And that's what these psychedelic drugs do. They influence the neurotransmitters and how they concentrate on you telling the motherfucking truth. It is. So some people say, damn, you smoking some good shit. I say, you smoking the shit. You know what I'm saying? You smoking the shit. Because that shit right there, it got you not even able to damn tell the truth. It's forcing you to the dark side to say some stuff that don't even make any sense. Let's keep it going.
So we tend to overlook things. I've been seeing these flaws that Crawford has for a long time. And I've always said, once he steps up and he fights another A-level fighter that's in their prime, not old, about to retire out of the sport, all of those things are going to get exploited and it's going to get ugly. We've seen this in boxing too many times. I've seen this in the sport of boxing too many times, right? And I think that we're going to see it on July the 29th. Because, for one, Bud Crawford, his chin is suspect. He gets.
So here we go. We have to understand that Delta 9 is in full-blown effect right here. If I was to goddamn have these individuals piss into a cup, the shit would go right through the bottom and onto the floor. Real talk. That shit would be a high yellow and mixed in with a neon green. Real talk. It's not something that you will find to be natural when they're testing professional athletes or just regular civilians who have a corporate job who can't piss dirty on, per the substance policy. Obviously, something has taken control over these individuals. You know what I'm saying? I'm liable to go out and say, some of the drugs that has been proven to be a part of the ayahuasca may absolutely be included in this conversation, with these human beings, because the way you're talking, you're speaking as if this man has already reached July 29th. Not only that, when you say you've seen flaws in Bud Crawford, well, it would be great if you say you have seen flaws in Errol Spence also. But even if you said you've seen flaws, I have to ask you this. What were the results from the flaws that you've seen? What were the results? And if you can't really tell me the results in a way that I can believe that, okay, yeah, you've seen some results. I can attest to that, because I seen a fight film out there, and that's the way it seemed like. You know what I'm saying? I seen the film, and I know which film you're talking about. But if it's something that you are saying that makes no sense at all, and you can't really tie it down to accessible evidence, then I'm going to continue to go back to you smoking a really good strain that's affecting your ability to tell the truth. You know what I'm saying? You're smoking some shit that has such control over you that you've lost control of who you are as a person. Y'all up here trying to convince the people y'all have a boxing talk, but it ain't no way in hell you're not going to look at the O on his record and say, you know what? Yeah, I seen some flaws in Crawford for years. And I always said when he stepped up to an A-level fighter, he was going to have problems. So you're trying to prognosticate a situation that hasn't happened, right? But you're trying to speak it into existence as if it already happened. You're trying to speak in hindsight when a situation has not even occurred yet.
A lot. One of the biggest things that he has a problem with, he's defending against the jab. Errol Spence has the best jab in the division. Also, like I said, when he get hit, he want to fight you. Well, Errol Spence, he like to fight. He laugh at that type of shit. Once it become a dog fight, Errol Spence, like, he really get off on that. He love that type of shit. And to get in a fight with somebody that's very durable, like Errol Spence, that's built tough like that, and you ain't really built tough like that, yeah, you got the dog in you like that, but that don't mean nothing for your chin.
So what ETB is pretty much trying to say is that, people being built tough. You know what I'm saying? Dodge Ram tough. We ain't building vehicles. This ain't no goddamn vehicle manufacturer right here. You're trying to impress upon the people. You're trying to impress upon the people that, in one sentence, you're saying that Terrence Crawford is willing to throw away the fight plan and fight, which fighting is a part of boxing anyway. It's just how technically you delegate it, how you fundamentally delegate your fight process. It can be sloppy or it can be technically sound. You know what I'm saying? You can present to the people that this is how I'm going to go about fighting this fighter. Everybody does it different. But to basically highlight that Errol Spence loves that and he loves fighting, well, guess what? You attempted to make people believe that when he's fighting somebody, he gets the job done. Well, did he not fight Kell Brook? He fought Kell Brook, punch for punch, right? And it went into the 11th round. He fought Kell Brook, punch for punch. Punch for punch. Punch for punch. And he almost went the distance. Now, what's interesting about Sean Porter there, ETB, is the fact that it's been on record that Sean Porter himself said that Errol Spence came in there to do what? Beat him at his at his. Sean Porter has mentioned that. He tried to beat him at his own game. Errol Spence tried to beat Sean Porter at Sean Porter's own game. Bud Crawford came in there and beat Sean Porter at Bud Crawford's game. There's a different level of IQ here. Intellectually, it stands out. It stands out as bright as it can be. Errol Spence wanted to fight another man's game, where Crawford wants to beat Sean Porter at his game. So who's demonstrating more of a skill set? Who's demonstrating more of an intellectual ability doing the art of war to go out here and get the job done? That would be the man who is fighting his game. And he wants to enforce that upon his opponent and still earn total victory. That's extremely smart in my eyes. But what do I know? Because when it comes down to it, I'm still puzzled. I'm trying to figure and tie this all in as to why and what you are influenced and the why y'all talk about Bud the way you do, as if he's still not undefeated and he has more knockouts than Spence. When it comes down to these last, fights that truly matter, he has more knockouts. But you're saying he loves to fight. Well, the fights that he actually fought, in your narrative, he damn near went the distance. He pretty much slid out through the side door with a split decision when he fought Sean Porter. But when Bud fought him, we all seen 4-rounder, 10-rounder. Only went partial 4-round and then went a partial 10-round. But yet, you want to put the disclosure up there that's over the hill and about to retire. That's false information, brother. That's false information.
And I'm going to just leave it at that.
But they said about EJ, they said one thing EJ done figured out in the sport is motherfuckers don't like to fight. And EJ will push your ass and make you fight. Once he starts making you fight, you know what I'm saying? You fall right into his wheelhouse because that's what he does. And so, facts. So, I mean, it is what it is. Go ahead.
Yeah, I think another thing is that,
Now, before I bring in this nutcase right here, which I believe this is film study. I don't know what film he was studying. It might have been Tom and Jerry. He might have been thinking, okay, how can a mice keep running away from a month? It was some different shit other than boxing, bro. You know what I'm saying? It was some different type cartoon shit, that really didn't have anything to do with boxing. But like I said before, I tie all three of these dudes into a potent strand of tetrahydrocannabinol, THC, and the person that gave it to him know damn well that shit has some different type of fatty oils consistent. The chemicals, to me, on the shit that they smoking is extremely synthetic. I'm talking about ingredients that you find in pine oil. Old cooking grease, ceiling fan dust, salmonella poisoning, koala bear poop, donkey piss, curbside gum. We're talking about bacteria found in garbage disposals in a community sink. We're talking about things that would change the life of a human being where they have to go to the hospital and have some serious examinations. We're talking about these type of strands have chemicals that's in them that the average human being body is not supposed to be subjected to. We're talking about Lysol additives, stuff that's supposed to, you want to sanitize the area. When it was COVID on deck, you spray Lysol all over the place, man, and sanitize the area and shit. For real. We're talking about janitor sponges. I'm talking about items that have extreme high concentrated value of bacteria, of toxicity. These are what was put into these strands that these individuals was smoking when they was having this conversation. There's no way in hell you gonna convince me that they was smoking some regular shit. There's no way, because they're up here trying to basically ignore the truth and what's on paper and what they've seen play out in front of them. They trying to tell these people that's in the chat as if it's all AI. They're dealing with a bunch of AI individuals that's not real, and they can be influenced based off what? Verbiage. You know what I'm saying? Voice to text. You know what I'm saying? And shit like that. This can't be some real shit. So listen to what Film Study is going to say.
You can be conditioned. And like you said, fighters don't like to fight. It's not just they don't like to fight, bro. It's that you only fight at the pace that you practice at, that you spar at, that you train at. So fighters are conditioned for what they put themselves through. Now, if you condition yourself for throwing 90 to 100 punches per round and they all got some thump on them, then that's what you're gonna be prepared to take yourself to and endure in a fight. Now,
so let me stop there because I don't know what film he was studying. But last time I checked, you know, being that I was in sound mind and body without smoking anything on here, I remember seeing Marvelous Jarvis make his rounds up here on the YTC, and he was explaining that he holds a position, right? He holds a position inside the world-class gym as a sparring partner for Errol Spence, right? Also, I recognize that this man is a content creator and a comedian. So when I looked at that, I said, well, I wonder how in depth, what places do he take Errol Spence doing sparring that he can say, I've never been here before? How many rounds do he go? Is he tough enough? So when he was here and they had so many content creators and channels interviewing this guy, he said the Errol hit him one time and he was, you know, out for 2 rounds. And I'm listening to Film Study and he talking about that's what you train for. I could tell you like this. You don't know what the fuck you're talking about. It's fighters that fight and train for a fighter one way based off what they have to look at. And then once they get into the fight, the momentum may dictate them to change paces. That doesn't mean in training camp that they train to throw that many punches. Or you might have a fighter that train one way all the time. And the level of competition that he's faced allowed him to give that forward pressure and let go and have that volume of output. Is that to say that Bud Crawford is going to allow him to do that shit? Isn't Bud Crawford considered the toughest opponent? When Terrence Crawford is asked, is this the toughest opponent? He said, I don't know yet. I have to see. I don't think Errol Spence gave the same response because he knows Terrence Crawford was never part of the easy route. So if he wasn't a part of the easy route, coming into the division as a 2-weight world champion and picking up the belt, and he wasn't the easy route, he has to believe that this is going to be his toughest challenge. But Film Study is up here trying to convince the people of what? If you train to throw 90 to 100 punches around and this, that, and the other, it's all up to the type of competition, the skill of your competition that you've been in there with, and the person that you're about to get in there with. Y'all are just looking at Spence, you know, throwing a high volume of punches when a lot of his opponents was flat-footed fighters. And also you have to look at the amount of southpaws that he fought. Didn't somebody say it was like uno, dos?
if you like to slow the pace and you train at that pace and you spar at that pace because people are not pressing you because of your power, then you get in there with a guy that don't give a damn about that and is going to press you and make you, expend way more energy than you ever had. Now, that's what people don't realize when they say, oh, EJ Basic, he's basically relentless. And that's something that made me go from picking Bud to picking Spence, because when you look at the film, this guy's going to make you speed it up. And it's not that guys don't like to fight. It's that guys don't like to fight when they can't think about what they're trying to do. And when you can't think about what you're trying to do, you being a superior this, the superior that, it doesn't really come into play when you don't have time to work in chaos. See, people can work in comfortability.
No, we're not going to smooth over that film study. We're not going to smooth over working in chaos. Because this is the evidence that I got. It's been a proven fact that Bud have worked in chaos before, because people made it perfectly clear that he's worked in chaos, because they have made it a point to say he's been in there, and they have titled this man Cheney. You know what I'm saying? They have titled Bud Cheney. So he had to be in there with chaos. Their film stuff. He had to be in there with chaos, bro. At one point in time, he had to be in there with some chaos now. And being that I continue to look to the right side of his boxing ledger and it says a 0, that means he fought his ass up out of freaking chaos and won the fight. Let's talk about superiority in a fight. Let's talk about superiority. Isn't the primary strategy is to go in there and dictate the pace, dictates the momentum? You know what I'm saying? Isn't it to be in control? Isn't it to make adjustments? Isn't Bud Crawford praised for his data collecting ability? Aren't y'all criticizing him for collecting data and saying that's why he's a slow starter, because he always needs to collect data? Isn't that you all's narrative? So you're basically saying someone like Spencer's, the amount of fights he's had up to this point, he's been in total control the entire time, and no one's been able to challenge him and take him out of his comfort zone? Shit. It's been plenty of fights out there that he hasn't been in control of. But being that he is considered an elite fighter and he is proven to be tough, and he does have dog to him in him, he does. Spence does have dog in him, man. I'm not gonna sit up here and bullshit. He does have Dog Nation's ability to keep on pressing forward. But sometimes his defense is the glove that basically ricochets off his jawline. Sometimes his defense is, oh, I never seen that punch coming type of damn shit. Yeah, you can come forward all you want, but if you get touched up in the head area, which is the primary target location of punch placement from a lot of fighters, then you have to kind of change it up and say, okay, let me try to figure this out. Who has made him pay? Who has been able to create enough space and methodically gauge that space and land counter shots effectively to start breaking Errol Spence down at any given time of the fight? There's been fighters who land shots, but we're talking about consistently being able to figure out the timing, the distance, and be able to effectively land those power shots, land those punch combinations over and over again to the point where they're in control. Who has Errol Spence been in there with that's been able to maintain that? And of course, you're going to ask me, who has Crawford been in there with? Well, he had to be in there with somebody who put him in adversity, because y'all say the man's Cheney. Y'all always go back 30 years and pull up the motherfucking skeletal remains of Gamboa. Oh, there it is. Hey, shine a light over here. We found it. We finally exhumed it. They up there exhuming freaking fight footage of Gamboa back in the day. Real talk. Anyway, let's get back to the audio.
But in chaos, it's a different story. So that's something that a lot of people don't realize, and that southpaw shit don't mean nothing when you switch to southpaw against southpaw. It's like an orthodox against an orthodox fighter. Now we're going to see you got the better jab. And so that angle don't do shit to a southpaw. It's just like if you fighting, you mirroring yourself. So we're going to see you got the better jab when you get in there. And if when I started looking at the film, I see Errol Spence throws more crisp, straight shots. See, Bud is a lot more loopy. Bud is kind of he's a dynamic, but he also got a street fighter aspect to him, where he'll throw a looping hook, a overhand type hook, you know what I mean, punches from the waist. So those things are so dynamic. Those things are hard to prepare for as well. But if you're talking about fundamentals and somebody that, you know, is ready for it and pushes the pace to what they want to, and somebody that's always sliding to the position they want you to be in, they may not have the same feet. It may not be as pretty, but they're always in position to start. It's different. Mental pressure and physical pressure causes a different type of fatigue than what most people spar at. And I think that's just why Errol Spence has a up on people, man. I think that's really one of the reasons. That pace, man, it's just so so tough when it's body head. It's just different. It's just a methodical beatdown, and it may not be as pretty as I catch you in between the shot and I put you out, but it gets the job done. And I think if it ain't broke, don't fix it. And I think people look too much in the flash over fundamentals, and that's where I used to make the mistake at. But once I started studying the film too much, Key, nah, Spence gonna win this. And I think the only reason why he's the underdog is because of the 17-month layoff with Ugas, and he's been out the ring for a year waiting on this.
Here we go. You know, I appreciate what you said, that, you know, on film study up to that point, you know, talking about, you know, you gave Bud credit, a little small amount of credit on the FICO score. You gave him about two and three quarters points on the FICO score, but he deserved more than that. He deserved more than that. But listen, brother, this is what I'm trying to understand. Like, you act like you just speaking about Errol Spence in a sense that he trains, right? And every opponent that he's been training for forced him to be at the level that for which you're talking about. You know what I'm saying? You're acting like all his opponent was world beaters. They was murderers row type of opposition. And that is not the case, bro. That is not the case. Just because he was fucking off and doing certain things that made it tougher for him to go in there and cut weight and train, y'all dudes will continue to say, well, you know, Errol Spence still came in there and got the victory. He made weight. Okay, cool. No doubt about it. But look how he went in there and performed. You up here crediting this man for having a come forward style type of pressure. You say that Terrence Crawford has a street fighter's mentality, but in a street fight, don't a person come forward and take blows and take punches to the head? Isn't that a street fight? Don't you have people just come forward until somebody not, you know, some person is basically surrendering? Isn't that how street fight? That's pretty much how Errol Spence can pretty much dictate the pace. Come forward type of pressure. You know what I'm saying? Y'all love talking about the jab. He does have a punctual jab. But at the end of the day, when you go in there with another boxing student that's considered to be at a high educational level, Justice Spence, is not going to be the same curriculum that you think you seen while you was film studying. You should know that shit. You sitting up here acting like Crawford is sit up here and fought all his fights 12 rounds as a welterweight. I talked about this the other day, bro. What film are you going to look at? Because truth be told, every time I hear y'all dudes talk about Crawford, he ain't fought nobody. So who and what fight, when the fight, are you all going to select to do film study on? Are you going to take the longest fight with him fighting Benavidez with one leg, as y'all call it? Which film study are you going to watch on Bud Crawford in the welterweight division? Or will you be as stupid to pretty much go back and exhume the fight footage of Gamboa, the infamous myth, the man, the legend, Yorkis Gamboa? Are y'all gonna go to his freaking archives and pull that shit up and knock the dust off of it? You know what I'm saying? Are y'all gonna clean him up and stuff? Put him up on display and bring in a controlled study group to say, listen, we're here for one and one thing only. We have a fight July 29th, and we brought you all here because we want to do film study on Gamboa. What made him so special when he fought Terrence Bud Crawford? How was he able to go in there and hurt him and then get stopped in the process? Was it because of him pulling the shoulder muscle? Did his clavicle break? Did he tear a meniscus? We want to know if it was strictly off the strength of Terrence Crawford retaliation to being hurt, or did Yorkis Gamboa tear Achilles tendon? Because that's what they say that he did in Tank Davis fight. So was it a pre-existing injury from when he fought Bud Crawford? I don't know. I just know every time I hear these cats talk about Cheney, they go back to Gamboa. Gamboa was back there in the civil rights era. That fight was back in the civil rights era. You know what I'm saying? Well, how many people attended that fight, man? Real talk. Was there any blacks at the fight? I mean, damn, how far of a fight do you have to go back for you dudes to say, oh, he's chinny. He's chinny. What are you smoking? Y'all niggas are on some good, potent shit. The shit you inhaling, I swear to God, your body breaks that shit down differently. Real talk. I think some of you niggas smoke so much, y'all have respiratory arrest going on, and you all really have to just lay down before you come on live. And the residual effect from that respiratory arrest is the shit that I'm listening to on here. Seriously, y'all don't want to give this man no credit like it don't exist, but it's absolutely on paper. It's documented and recorded.
Right. While Bud got one in, so, you know, you only as good as your last fight. They saw Bud knock out this Ebenezer guy. He seemed to be more active than Spence. He got one in. And, you know, Spence had the eye injury. Spence had the accident. So
Excuses, brother. Excuses. When Crawford beat Sean Porter, y'all dudes was up here trying to put Boots in there at the first of semester of 2022. Y'all was up here, oh, he ain't doing that. He just got out the ring in November. Y'all niggas trying to put him in there when Spence has a fight coming up in April. So the whole point of Crawford finishing up Sean Porter was his last fight at Top Rank, right? The same promotion that y'all was saying he should leave. So the man said, if you couldn't get me to fight while I was signed with you, you can't get me to fight when I'm with you. Not with you. So being the first semester of 22 showed up, Tim Smith came out here, all that shit, right? Y'all niggas up here talking about he should fight Boots. And the main fight we want to see is Crawford versus Spence. So now this dude is up here talking about, oh, well, the only reason he's the Bednar's favorite because all of a sudden, right? All of a sudden, the fight couldn't be made in 2022. And whose fault it is? It's Bud's fault. You feel me? Because he went up there and didn't sit on his hands after the freaking Yordenis Ugas fight. He didn't sit on his hands. He negotiated in good faith. He was smart. And we found some more. I could have sworn, I think I was talking to Showtime about this shit. The stupidest thing that these content creators have come to, what proves to me that they're smoking on some really good shit. I'm talking about these niggas are ambidextrous with this damn smoke. They smoke with the left, they smoke with the right. I'm talking about they just smoking from left, right, like motherfucking military cadence, bro. They just smoking. I swear to God. And in the right hand, you got, you know what I'm saying, a different strain. And in the left hand, you got a different strain. But they be smoking them shit and getting a whole different level of mind-altering influence. A whole different level. Wasn't the whole deal Crawford Spence? Didn't that man go in there and beat Ugas? So we was kind of waiting. But now all of a sudden, look, it's Bud's fault again for Spence being out the ring over a year. How? How is it Bud's fault for everything, bro? When I heard none of you niggas bring up the fact that this man said he called up Spence in January. He fought Ebenezer the 10th of December, didn't he? Did he even let a motherfucking month go by before he said, hey, Errol, what you up to, man? I was calling to see what was up, man. You know what I'm saying? You want to fight or what? I don't have a fight. You don't have a fight. Let's do it. Let's motherfucking do this. We both don't have a fight. But now to hear these cats said, you know, Crawford can't be in front and be the Bednar's favorite based off his body of work. He has to be the Bednar's favorite all because of the layoff. Oh my God. Did you just bring up an eye injury, bro? Did he not have the eye injury before Ugas? Did he not just have the eye injury before Ugas? So if that is indeed the case, why are you bringing it up like it's relevant today? It's unimportant, bro. It's unimportant. He stepped in there. He beat Ugas. Then A negotiation was attempted in good faith by Terrence Crawford. He exhausted every measure all the way to the end, which led him to BOK Prime to pick up another win. Once again, he exhausted every measure all the way to the end, which led him to BOK Prime to pick up another win. He fought David Avanesian December 10th, and you all try to downplay this man like he wasn't anything, but obviously, smoking on that strand, you forgot in boxing, there's a ranking system. And one thing you can't blame Bud for is him putting the names on that bitch. He had nothing to do with putting the names on the ranking system. So if he fought a fighter that was in the rankings, what problem is it? None, right? Okay. Y'all can say he garbage and shit or whatever the case may be, David Avanesian. But the fight happened and he got the stoppage. Not only did he get the stoppage, but we do know Egis Kavalauskas stopped David Avanesian in 6 rounds. We do know that Crawford stopped him in 6. It did not go past 6. So staying the code, he got it done. But my whole point is to take back to the neurotransmitters as to why they're not functioning correctly is simply because of you all smoking on some real toxic ass shit over there. That shit is extremely toxic and your body is breaking that shit down incorrectly. You know what I'm saying? It's not healthy, bro. Let's get back to the other part of this.
Spence had the eye injury. Spence had the accident. So people still are harping on those 2 things in Vegas. So I do believe that's the reason why Errol Spence is the underdog. But if I had to bet, my money on Spence.
So your money's on Spence. Have it on Spence. Why are you going to try to put that's how these dudes, try to get over and try to fast talk like nobody's listening. How do you know what Vegas is putting out there? How do you know, bro? It's 2023. When did that accident happen? After he fought Sean Porter. What year he fought Sean Porter? What are you talking about? They talking about the accident. How are you going to speak on the accident? This man had 2 fights. Y'all brag about how he looked in those fights. He's the eye collector, right? So make up your fucking mind. Is Vegas sitting up here hyping? Is Vegas sitting up here hyping, harping on the accident? Are they harping and reminding people that he had an eye injury? Is that why the bednars? Y'all niggas got to stop this shit. All the excuses and the motherfucking baiting and trying to goddamn get empathy and have motherfuckers up here trying to once again finger point in the direction of Crawford. Crawford didn't have shit to do with the eye injury. He didn't have shit to do with the road accident. That's all of them. He didn't have shit to do with that. But you want to sit up here and say that the odds in Vegas is influenced because of the accident and the eye injury. When you got people out here being braggadocious about freaking Errol Spence being the eye collector now, right? And then smoking on Bud. I know for a fact y'all niggas smoking on some Bud. Y'all smoking and drinking. That shit is hydrophilic. That shit is being dissolved with alcohol. Y'all niggas are high as a kite. Y'all niggas high as a kite. Y'all can't be doing this shit sanely. You can't be talking about boxing like this and you just ignoring what the fuck is on paper. You can't be doing this shit, bro. And we already have a fight date and you dudes refuse to even talk about the fight date. Y'all might mention it. Oh, we got a fight date July 29th, but you don't want to build up the fight. You don't want to say nothing positive. You keep on making it seem like, well, I want to properly prepare myself. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to have people think I'm just 100% all in with Errol. I'm going to be all in with Errol just a little bit. Partially, I'm going to subtract and say that he has a car accident and eye injury. But when I look at film and everything else I'm seeing in film, I got to go with Errol. Well, go all in for Errol then. I'm all in for Bud. It ain't, look, people hit me up on some of these videos. They say, hey, I got 50-50 there. The WCS. I say, I got 100% to 0. It ain't no 50-50 with me. You got people getting upset because I say it's 100% that he gonna go in there and beat Errol. Why are you getting upset? Isn't this what boxing talk is about? When did y'all niggas start listening to boxing? If you can't talk about boxing without smoking on some good shit, then try not to smoke on some good shit and just have a decent conversation. You know, because some strains out there would change the way your neurotransmitters concentrate. You know, in ways they would freaking naturally get you to the conclusion or the answer that you want. But yet, when it's mind-altering influences and drugs and chemicals and shit, you know, people say some things that's not considered to be sane. It's not correct. Some people might call it bogus. You know what I'm saying? It might be bogus, man. You might be considered to be disingenuous. How can you all be sane individuals saying the shit that you saying? Trying to pretty much say that he's chinny in one and look, chinny in one sentence, but yet, you know, if you ask to prove that, you want to go back to Gamboa. So I'm like, damn, you were a part of the search and rescue team when they went and dug him up from the cemetery. When they went and dug that fight up from the archives that was buried. You were out there part of the excavation process. Kudos to you. You got some history behind you. You look good for your age. What are you, like 100 and what? Well, tell me, goddammit. Y'all keep on talking about ancient, antiquated freaking film study. And the first person y'all bring up to validate Bud is chinny is Gamboa. But yet y'all don't want to talk about the conclusion of the round. I got it. I got it, man.
See, those fighters, they ain't sparring 18 rounds. You know what I'm talking about? They not getting in the ring sparring 18 fucking rounds, 15 rounds on a regular basis and things like that. And EJ, when he spar, it ain't just, oh, well, I'm just working on this. I'm working on defense today. I'm working on offense.
Okay, ETB. Okay. I have to ask some questions there, ETB. Point blank, period. I got to ask some questions. I do. I got to ask you some questions, big dog. My first question is, are you allowed to visit the world-class Alcatraz gym located in Texas? Can you, as a content creator, substantiate the information that you just put out about what EJ is doing? I see Ellie Satback up there, ES News. I see him all through the gym. I used to see Al TBA, but that's a different story. That's long gone. That's a different story. I don't want to bring up old scar tissue. I don't know if he's listening now. I don't want to bring up old scar tissue, but once upon a time, he was in the gym. It wasn't world class. It probably other gym, but you know, I'm just saying. Any way for you, ETB, to just so I can bring closure to responding to some of the information that I consider to be Bud Crawford hate. Is there any way you can revisit the moment that we seen in the video that I did a live stream on? Like, I commend you for that. You know, that was actually media shit. You was asking some questions. You know, y'all was in the casino, been there, done that, right? But right now, you're speaking that no one else is doing what Errol Spence is doing. No one else is sparring 18 rounds. You know what I'm saying? You hear someone say that. So why aren't you so open to believe what Bernie the Boxer put out? Like, If Bernie put out that Bud is doing 25 rounds, are you going to believe it? Or are you going to put out that Arrow is sparring 18 rounds and nobody else is doing that? How do you know? I haven't been able to retrieve any other footage of you being close enough to EJ to get some media. Hopefully, me doing this little segment on you, that somebody over there is smoking one of those strands. You know what I'm saying? And they say, you know what? You know, goddamn WCS, man, he making a good ass point, man. What does ETB do? You know ETB? You do. Man, get that dude over here. He got a point, man. Now then, we need to get ETB over here in the world class gym, man. We need to goddamn get him in here so he can get some footage on Earl, man. It's good. Get him over here, man. Hurry up, get him over here. He needs some more footage. We need to get him some more footage. That one video ain't gonna do it. I'm saying, dog, get some more footage to validate what you're saying about these 18 rounds and everything. Because the last time I checked, when the man was in there sparring McAlooey, that's with 2 O's and 3 Y's, McAlooey. Sometimes Y sound like an E, goddammit. We was told that McAlooey potentially did some damage in emulating the legend himself, Manny Pacquiao. Can I propose this question? Were you there at that time? Because some footage did leak, and if I can give you credit for it, I will cite you for it, and put it out there that, hey, that was ETB's footage. But truth be told, I found out who footage it was. I did. I found out who footage, and it wasn't yours. So if you're saying the man is sparring 18 freaking rounds, y'all, and no one else is doing it, is it any way possible that you can get close to the gym, or any way you can get him on your channel to speak about the 18 rounds? Better yet, ETB, you, Dub Right Side Film Study, were one of 3. We're talking about 1/3, just 1/3 of y'all, just 1/3. That's all. We're not going in the trigonometry and none of that shit. Just 1/3. Was 1/3 of y'all at one of the presses at the West Coast, East Coast? I'm looking for some shit. I'm about to go find me a strain myself. I swear to God. What was that not the opportunity there, ETB, for you to meet him face to face and have your moment to speak on certain topics, to validate some shit? I did not see you in attendance. I'm just saying, my brother. I did not see Film Study. I did not see The Right Side. I did not see ETB. I did not see neither one of you all, bro. But you're having a conversation about what Bud doesn't do and what he can't do and what Spencer is not going to allow him to do. But I'm saying at least Blue Blood was on at least Blue Blood was on deck. At least he was on deck. At least Blue Blood was on deck. At least Blue Blood was on deck. So since he was on deck, he was able to get footage. He was able to get video content. He was able to interview one-on-one or media scrum or whatever the case. He was on deck, ETB. I'm not buying that, bro. I'm not buying this 18 rounds and this stuff you talking about. I'm not buying none of that, bro. I'm not buying it, man. None of my listeners are buying that shit. You're sitting up here hyping this man up, talking about he's doing something nobody else is doing. How? Your boy Fam Study just said he was off over a year, and that's why the Bednarz is favoring Crawford. So if that's the case, how this man just getting back into freaking the fight camp? Because Derrick James lied and say 11 months ago, it's a video out there saying Derrick James saying they was training for Crawford already. That was cap, because the man wasn't even in the gym like that. He's been on record as saying he get to the gym when he found out he got a fight. When he had the accident, He was up there just going to the gym. He couldn't do anything. He was just still going through oral surgery and all that. So like, which one is it, bro? Like, which one is it, man? Like, give us just one area where we can really attach ourselves to for validation. We need some updated footage. We just can't go off what you're saying about 18 rounds and act like Crawford is incapable of training up to any type of standard that you consider extreme. How do you all not understand and know the level of training that Crawford's at? How do you know what threshold of failure, pushing past failure, is he at when he's training? It's no way to know that, man, especially in a combat sport, until you fight that specific person. How are you all gauging Crawford's threshold of failure, pushing through failure? Who and when did they get footage? Who has Crawford told that his threshold was this percentage right here, and a fighter that took him through that threshold? I guarantee you it's not going to be Errol Spence. Errol Spence is not on the docket as pretty much pushing him because they haven't fought yet. I'm not saying EJ cannot fight. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying, as an athlete, as looking at how he sustains himself nutritionally and abiding by the word salubrity, living a healthy lifestyle, Crawford is not the one to play catch up with, bro. He's not the one to play catch up with. Just like y'all used to praise Floyd for going running 2 a.m, 3 a.m, right? Y'all used to praise that man. He's living that lifestyle. He can go to the club and don't have a drink. That shit didn't go out the window for Bud, did it? Yeah, that shit didn't go out the window for Bud, did it? Because it seems like y'all forgot that Floyd was all about that discipline too. But Bud is all about that discipline. All of a sudden, it's a Salvation Army. And then quality about this shit. This is hand-me-downs over here. Don't believe it, man. See, Floyd, he drunk that water with an alkaline of 8. And see Terrence, he's just drinking generic brands out the store. He's not drinking the same water Floyd Mayweather drink, so that he's not going to be on the same level. I mean, what are you basing the information off of? You know what I'm saying? That Crawford is not at an equal to higher level training for this fight inside the gym. Why do you act like his team is not competent and experienced enough to take him past a level? This man has been on record as saying he trained for fights like they championship fights, man. Who has told you that Bud just been taking this shit for a joke? Who has told you that, man?
Today, nah, he going in there and fight your motherfucking ass. You know, the only difference is they got big gloves on and headgear. So that's why I think that he's always talking about, I'm not coming in off a layoff. I don't want no fucking tune-up. I want to get. I'm
glad you said that, because tell Film Study that. All right. See, I'm going to collectively put all this shit together for you, ETB. I'm going to package it. You know what I'm saying? Because you sitting up here bragging about, Crawford, Mr. No Broken Bones, I'm a savage, I don't need no tune-up, right? To Film Study saying that the Bednarz over in Vegas is the reason why Crawford is ahead and Crawford is a favorite. So which one is it going to be? Do they not give a fuck about the accident and shit? Are they going to take what Errol Spence said and say, hey, he don't want no tune-ups. He's good. I'm tough. I think I can go in there. I've been outside the pocket all the time. That's the way I like to live. That's what it is. But Film Studies up here making excuses, talking about Vegas is putting Bud Crawford as the favorite. Why? Because of the accident and the eye injury. But yet and still, you got Spence over here talking about he don't need no tune-ups. So is this dude a warrior? Is he Thanos? I mean, what is he? Y'all need to get on the same sheet of music when y'all talking this shit.
With the best. Because the work that I put in the gym, lets me know that I don't need no fucking tune-up when I come back. You know, and a lot of guys, they don't do that. You know what I'm saying? A lot of these dudes, they don't do that. You know what I'm saying? A lot of these dudes, they don't do that. I bet 97% of these fighters today, they can't keep up with Errol Spence in the gym the way that he trained.
Well, let me do the math once again. Let me hold up. Let me hold up and see which hand I want to hold up. Let me just try my right hand this time. So 97%, so 97, 98, 99, 100. So what I've came up with is 3% that has a gap that's unaccounted for. That's what I came up with. Out of the 97% he was talking about, is 3% that's unaccounted for to basically be included in the guys who aren't training to way ETB said they are. So this proves my point. This has proved my point, because basically what I always said, that y'all niggas don't know what level Crawford is training at. So he is going to be at the top 3%. He is going to be at the top 3%. He's going to be at the top 1% because he's the pound for pound best. He's always been campaigning on the list for a long time. He's undefeated. Come on, man. And he's the hottest topic on YouTube. So if he wasn't at the top 1%, therefore he wouldn't be the hottest topic on YouTube. Y'all niggas wouldn't be talking about him instead of talking about your fighter, Errol Spence. You wouldn't be talking about the guy. That's 3% unaccounted for. That's the best of the best right there. When you've been campaigning on the pound for pound list as long as Crawford has, then that puts you up there at an elite status. If you already had your hand casted for the Hall of Fame, the largest class ever due to the pandemic, then come on now, your body of work is saying a lot. 3 weight divisions, and he already had the t-shirt of Undisputed. He's going back again. But y'all niggas don't want to talk about that. Every single time that you bring up Undisputed, you have to say something about Julius Ndongo when nobody. When he was somebody. Not only was he somebody, he did all the heavy lifting and had 2 belts. He had 2 belts just like Jose Ramirez had when he fought Josh Taylor, goddammit. Y'all gave him all the credit in the world for fighting. 2-2. Now you got 3-1. And everybody want to act like they're in special ed when it comes to math. 3-1. So let me ask you this, Errol. If you got 3 belts and he has 1, why he's ahead of you on the pound for pound list there, Errol? You know, riddle me that. Just riddle me that. I don't get it. If you got 3 belts and you got 1, how is he ahead of you on the pound for pound list? I'm just asking. I don't know, Errol. They don't know. He's ahead of him on the pound for pound list. And you say you got 3 belts, you got more belts than him in the welterweight division. That's what they ask on the interview. You don't just go off the division you in? Come on, bro. Man, y'all put down the strain, dog. The strain, rather. You know, they're going to say, oh, he was saying strain. Hey, I ain't educated on this shit. All I know is some mind-altering chemicals and substance that's been placed in here. And like I said, the only person I want to talk to is the test dummy. I want to talk to the person that's been keeping the goddamn running record of these strains and how it made them feel. So I can do process of elimination, goddammit. I want to do process of elimination to kind of pinpoint which strain that they're smoking on over there, so I can kind of tie it in to the responses they've been putting out to the public. Real talk. That's all I want to do. That's all I want to do for the people. I just want to find the person that's been the test dummy and taking a hit, you know, just hitting that shit. And he's goddamn documented. Oh man, I'm hallucinating like a motherfucker in this bitch. Let me write that shit. I'm hallucinating. And then let me put my clock. The time is 1:17 in the morning, a.m. Okay. And then You take another hit. Okay, the time is 3:43 a.m. and I'm seeing motherfuckers jump over the moon, the stars, the trees. I'm seeing motherfuckers disappear. There's some heavy ass shit I'm smoking. Real talk. I seen a tree walking on its own, riding, and then look, jumping on a bicycle and riding that motherfucker. I seen some crazy shit. I seen a cow doing a backflip in this bitch. That's the strain I want to see. That's the documentation I want to see. That's all. I want to see the documentation of the guy or gal who was testing the shit and the documentation that they wrote down about what they felt for whatever time period they were smoking it. Am I right? Am I right or wrong for doing that? I want to talk to the person so I can kind of figure out, did that strand reach the demographic over there to where these guys are residing, and may potentially I can tie it in to them at a time frame, a timeline that they were smoking it, and pretty much put them on site before they went on live as not being coherent enough to talk about this topic. That's all I'm trying to do. I'm uneducated about the bud strains, but I've learned a lot, man. Shout out to I'm Cam, the Apostles on deck, man. What's good with it? Jason on deck, salute. NYT on deck. Let me try to get to some of these. Not all, but Son Don Vaughn on deck, Juice Lee on deck. See you, Toby Bartlett on deck. We global. BOZ to I was the one who broke Knockout's jaw in 2010. He blocked me when I mentioned it. 720 on deck. He say, bro, we all have friends that can't handle their liquor. I'm not sure if he is drunk or not, but Jamaican culture, it's the norm to celebrate. And him and Beezy was just playing around. Well, you must be responding to somebody else because I didn't mention. Haynes Legacy on deck. What's good? Boxing Fan Talk. What's good with you, bro? Let me see. If you have an impression of him being raised by his mother to basically try to you're trying to deflect what the topic at hand is. But he's proven, regardless of who he was raised by, that he's able to go out here and compete in a man's sport. We're not up here to question, is he an alpha male or not? Based off the body of work and the results that he's been able to render, that's not even a relevant freaking way to debunk anything that I've said during this live stream. It's not even nowhere close. It's not even on the right avenue. I just think, at the end of the day, I understand you're over here, and I understand that, in dealing with some Errol Spence supporters, they speak emotion first. You know what I'm saying? They speak with emotion first. I get it, bro. But what does his mom have to do with him competing and being undefeated in a sport and having all stoppages in the welterweight division? You explain that to me. And if it makes sense, I will accredit you for that. But if you can't explain that to me and it makes sense, then I don't know what to tell you, man. I don't know what to tell you. Why? How do y'all think, Bud doesn't handle pressure? Does he need to get punched in the face and still come forward, punched in the head again, come forward, punch in the head again. You know what I'm saying? Looking like a bobblehead before, to be considered tough. I mean, this man is trying to have an extended life outside of boxing, wherever that may be. I don't know. You might want to ask the apostles about that. But the man, I'm pretty sure he's trying to have an extended life outside of boxing. So with that said, right, he's not trying to go up here and have pugilistica or early stages of dementia, unable to carry on a conversation with his kids that are grown up, because he spent most of his time in the bedroom looking out the window. That's why he ain't trying to go in there and take all that punishment. But listen, like I said before, you heard it here, the first time I mentioned it with WCS. What did I tell you? I told you that his trainer, Derrick James, was on the podcast, and he said if it came down to him being knocked out or taking punishment, he'd rather be knocked out. So I said to myself, why isn't your fighter under the same umbrella? Why isn't his mentality the same as yours? Why is y'all still that 2-year gap where he didn't want you to be? I mean, what is this about, bro? Like, your fighter doesn't have the same mentality you have. You would rather get knocked out, but your fighter would rather take punishment after punishment after punishment after punishment. Just like ETB said, it's bigger gloves. That's even more punishment. So therefore, his mindset is to keep on pushing, chugging forward and taking hits to the head. But his trainer said he'd rather get knocked out. I understand it, man. I really don't want to talk about this BoxRec. You know what I'm saying? He got other things to worry about. People get sensitive on here. You know what I'm saying? Derrick James like to start shit, but 4 of his 7 losses are via knockout. You know what I'm saying? So I guess he was living up to the truth in that. You know what I'm saying? Wasn't that Errol who was getting effed up against Porter? Is that how his face always looked? I don't know. It's a good question. Maybe one of these guys can answer that. It's over here. You know what I'm saying? I'm confused. Everyone Bud beat. He literally dominated. He gave Porter the little brother treatment until it became about business. Bud, you down, okay? Hey. Like Sean Porter said, Errol tried to come in there and fight his fight, and Bud was in there to prove and fight his own fight, not Sean Porter's, but he was going to beat him at Bud's own game. That's Bud's mentality. Spence's mentality was to beat, Sean Porter at Sean Porter's game. Come on, man. Come on. And then people sit up here. Oh man, that was OG shit, man. That was gangster. He went in there and made it difficult and almost picked up his first L fucking around trying to fight Sean Porter's fight. Okay, got it. So I guess when Bud stops Spence, he beats B-level fighter according to them. I hope they don't call Spence a B-level fighter, because they scared to talk. They scared to talk about PBC fighter, boy. They scared. They got that little stipend coming in, possibly. You know what I'm saying? Behind the scenes to put out and talk that good some about PBC fighters. They would not say anything bad, boy. If you ever think about thanking somebody first, you better make sure the Grand Poobah is first and foremost above any supreme being that you have worshiped and prayed upon on your knees behind closed doors. You know what I'm saying? Don't you dare say God first. Don't you dare say God first. How do you become a fighter of the year fighting nobodies? They smoking that what happened shit. Kell Brook edition. Hey, man. They on some shit. They on that good Delta 9 THC, man. You know what I'm saying? Dealing with stimulants or depressants, man. That's the strange and weird part about these strains that's going on. You don't know if it's a stimulant or depressant. They have some that'll stimulate you and some that'll calm your ass down. See, that's the part of being uneducated about these strains, man, because it's just so much chemicals in it. And then these type of strains are not having, they're keeping human beings from eating. Like, you got dudes that used to smoke, and you can tell they smoke because they're put on all this weight and shit. Today, niggas don't pick up a pound, dog. Hey, they people be like, hey, you gonna eat? Nah, you haven't ate in 2 days. I'm good, man. Hey, can you get my weed over there? Oh man, I haven't smoked all day, man. No, you did smoke. You smoked too. Okay, cool. It feel like all day. Can you get my weed, please? For real. Can you just get my weed? Why make it difficult, man? Just give me my shit, man. I gotta get this smoke off right quick. Heterosexuals talking points. He chinny, but Bud bonafide punches. They keep on using that same narrative, man. He chinny, he chinny, he chinny. You know what I'm saying? That's what they keep saying. He said we've seen it in boxing, and I've seen it in boxing. So which is it, Chase? Hey, dog. That dude was up there talking crazy, man. You know what I'm saying? He talking about, and that alone, me looking at that, and that's why I'm picking at Spence. I never quite understood why you was picking Spence. Either you an avid fan of Spence or you're not. You know what I'm saying? If you're an avid fan, just say you're an avid fan. Don't make it seem like that Bud didn't do something that you was expecting him to do, or you was a partial fan of Bud and you chose to cross over and say, you know, I'm just going with Spence. Because all the friends that I talk to on YouTube, they're going for Spence, and I like those channels. I like being in the chat. I'm going with Spence. That's a lot of them. A lot of these people was influenced. Period. All my brothers in the chat, what good with y'all? Do you know the strand they smoking? You know what I'm saying? No, they need to smoke the strand on the thumbnail. They need to go and pick up some of that, because one of them is going to be, you know, what they smoke after this fight happened July 29th. I'm serious. Shout out to True Media Today, USA Boxing, Coach Malachi in the building, man. Peace to my brother at WCS. Salute everyone in the chat. Salute to you, Coach. Great live today, man. You know what I'm saying? Great live. Tony Boswell on deck. What's good with it, Tony? I'm just going through, skimming through this. Like I said, I can't get everybody's chat. The apostles on deck. One love to the Archbishop WCS and everyone in the chat. The apostles in the building. To Leif with 16th ounce gloves on the jawline and spread the pain evenly on Io's chin strap. You know what I'm saying? I mean, that had to be like a 10-4 round today. But, you know, hopefully, you know, he returns and they can set up the sparring. You know what I'm saying? Like, hey, you did a live on somebody, and for whatever reason, I don't know. But, maybe it's because they, in the backyard in Omaha, and not a lot of people have that access. Or at one point in time, you had the position. Once upon a time, dog. Once upon a time, you was there. But you had to blow it. You was right there. You had the ultimate position. God damn, you had the ultimate position. Man, you couldn't tell nobody nothing. Ooh, scroll, call 911. Something ain't right. I was just scrolling up my articles. I don't feel right. Don't get me started. Maybe you've been scrolling too much. I'm glad I don't smoke anymore. No offense to people that do. I don't have no offense to people that do. I'm just saying, when you got people on here saying things, it leads me to question, like, what type of mind-altering, chemicals. I want to say chemicals, substance. I don't want to say drugs, because I don't want to pin that on them. You know what I'm saying? But what type of substance are you participating in? You know what I'm saying? You may not know the entire strain of everything that's consistent with making that strain the way it is. There may be some Clorox. There may be Clorox in your strain. You know what I'm saying? It may be something that is found in the cleaning, the aisle of the cleaning supplies. You know what I'm saying? Dish detergent, washing detergent. There may be something to that effect. Windex. I don't know. I'm just putting it out there. How he sparred 18 rounds when Derrick James said last year they was training for Bud. You know, I mean, when people sit up here and say shit like that, I don't get it. Shout out to Shaw News and Sauce Experience, man. AK Showtime, Shaw Team Tucker in the building. Peon got his best coverage at the MGM Grand. That was it for him. He is full-time gimmick narrative pusher. Hey, man, I'm just putting it out there, Keon. And you need to revisit. WJ Luckett, what's good with you? WCS July 29th. Can't get here fast enough. Fish fry. Yes, sir. That's what we want. Yeah, you know, like we definitely want that. I hope people are out there believing that they're gonna catch Errol Spence walking through the MGM Grand again. I'm here to tell you it's possible if you're willing to stay on your feet long enough to catch him going into the studio. You might be able to catch him, bro. But I'm gonna go out on a limb and say it's gonna be slim. It's gonna be 97%. 97%. You may not see him because he's gonna stay where he stays. He has a fight. He don't want to go down there and deal with you fans, you YouTubers. He's gonna probably stay on his floor in the suite. I'm just saying, 97%. I think 97% he's gonna stay in the suite with his people. They're gonna bring him up the food, and he's not gonna come down and you're gonna catch him walking through the casino like you would Bud Crawford. You definitely will find Bud walking through the casino. Come on, yeah, you definitely catch him doing that, man. Somebody go tell IOTB put 500 on his hand and spar. Hey man, I don't think he's. I was surprised at the about face. You know what I'm saying? You did a full video on him, and I don't know. I mean, I don't know, man. Maybe it's still the after effect of when he told Disloyal to the boxing game his true secrets about trying to fragment the Team Spence camp. And he thought he had a loyal friend, and he was never there to be in his best interest. He was there to be the interest. So when Io finished eating lunch with everybody, you know, the one that was closest following him alone did not alarm Io, TB, Alpha. So he said, hey, you know what? I hope Spence lose so he can fire Derrick James. And then Disloyal to the boxing game said, interesting. Did you say that? I was thinking the same thing. You know what? Hey, I got to use the restroom right quick. I'll be right back. And that's when the transfer of information commenced. The betrayal was in full effect, y'all. The betrayal happened and went down. Hey, Derrick, he hopes Errol loses so he can fire you. You didn't hear from me. Anonymous. I'm out. That's what did it. This man was in Operation Blackout in this motherfucker on IG. Fam. Oh my God, fam. Blu-ray, tell her Blu-ray. Fam. Take me back, fam. I fucked up, fam. I wasn't in my right mind because I was trying to get WCS to check in when he came up here. He wouldn't check in with me, fam. I wouldn't do what I was supposed to do, fam. I was just mad and upset, dog. I gave everybody a t-shirt or something. WCS, man. I was mad. Fam, let me in, fam. Tell Jerry James I apologize, fam. Let me stop, man. Let me stop. Derrick James, the new name is the Mad Trainer of the Year. Him and the Mad Rap about to drop an album. Man, that man is mad. Everything you ask him about Crawford, switch hit. That switch hit don't mean anything. Get out of here with that. Well, are you concerned about, him having 10 straight knockouts? Get out of here with that. Who did he fight? So Derrick's not really trying to sell the fight, man. For him to say who did he fight and your fight is about to go in there and fight him. How are you going to build up the fight? Or you just knowing that you're going to get your money? And you don't care? Or do you have a flat rate? You probably just have a flat rate, huh? You just have a flat rate. That's it. So you really don't care how much the fight sell. Because you're up here trying to tell people what does that matter with him, having 10 straight knockouts, who did he fight? I mean, it don't make any sense when one of them was undisputed, right? Okay. Continue to be mad, man. I don't know, but word on the street, RTV just got punked today. Apostles on Blood Boxing. NY Canada saw it. Bill's Boot Camp. What's good with it, bro? True, XO, true. Ray Lewis' mom did raise him. And that nigga run you cold, clean smack over with an elbow in your goddamn jaws and talk shit to you before he remove it. Hey, Chad. Ocho Cinco, they call you that? Don't you ever try to come over here and put a hit on me. Man, I will end your career. I pulled back on that hit because I knew what you was trying to do. But I ain't want to try to put you on two wheels, bro. I ain't want you to be looking like Dookie Duke. Yeah, but that phone down, son, and getting knocked out like I used to. Damn, Cam is on his freaking savagery, dog. You know what I'm saying? And just to think, way back then, it was the same thing, man. People was talking their shit. And just to think that still he hasn't got it. Like, dude had the ultimate position with Team Spence. He just don't get it. You blew it. All you had to do was just calm down a little bit, de-escalate. If Derrick was telling you some shit, hey, don't film this in the gym, don't film that, cool. All you had to do was just calm the fuck down and appreciate the access that you have. Take the footage when you can take the footage and continue to be a regular face there, being able to talk your shit about Spence. Nobody had that freaking access like you did. And you didn't even allow it to play itself out till he was like collecting belts. Dude, you didn't even allow it to play out for him to collect the WBC and WB. You wasn't even around, bro. You walked out with him in his hometown, but you should have been thinking ahead, man. Ahead. You had the ultimate slot. Done. Over. Derrick said, forget that I got knocked out. So I want my fighters to get knocked out. Oh my God, man. Y'all are hilarious. Why are you saying that? Look, they get mad at me. I'm like, I repeat shit that I read on social media, right? In public record. But there these niggas be goddamn trying to toss threats around. Like, dude, I'm talking about shit that's on public record. I put the shit together. I piece it together for conversation. If you don't want it for conversation, find a way to get these people not to put it out in the first place. And that's impossible. Coach said, child, please, these aerosexual YouTube channels are hilarious to me with their double standard contradictions and hypocrisies. Coach, first of all, if you're gonna leave a comment here, be careful now. Those words, some of those words you put in there was over 7 to 8 characters long now. We want not only the Bud Crawford supporters to be able to read this and feel good about it, but also the aerosexuals may peek in through the window and they get mad now that they have to go Google some of the shit you putting in there. Like they do me. They always get mad. Ah, nigga, you squares, nigga, man. You know that shit. Squares. You make them go to Google there, coach. They're going to be on your channel the next day issuing threats. You know what I'm saying? They're going to issue a threat, coach. Fuck you, them big ass, goddamn $9.20 words up in that motherfucking dog. Fuck you, man. You ain't educated. Fuck you, man. You ain't educated, dog. Contradictions and hypocrisies. Shorten that shit up, nigga. Shorten that shit up. God damn it. Don't have time to be going to Google, Bing, Ask.com. NYT Facts. That's why he said he won't stop the fight. Shaking my head. He wants them to feel what he felt. Hey, excuse me. You have a good point now. You have a very, very good point. The man say, I would rather get knocked out than freaking take punishment. But yet, that man would not throw in the. Let's see if he Let's see if he holds up to that July 29th. Let's see if he holds up to not throwing in the towel. You know what I'm saying? They might have to call Mark Breland out. Mark, you want to do this? Come on, man. You see it. Go ahead, Mark. Go ahead, Mark. Do it. Do it. Do it. You see him getting beat up. Do it. Do it. Grab it and throw it. They better stop it, dog. You know, I don't know if I can go that far, Cam. I don't know if I can go that far, my brother, to basically line up meth and K2. I don't think they're functioning meth and K2 addicts. I can't put that on them. I can't put that tag on them. I have to put something that's light enough for them to have a dialogue, that they're not slobbing on themselves. You know what I'm saying? Gnawing on their index or thumb. You know what I'm saying? Removing their fingernails on live. You know what I'm saying? Doing some crazy ass shit. Choking themselves with their own two hands. No, I can't put that K2 and meth and bath salt on them. I can't do that. Cam, I can't do it, brother. That'll be over the top. Ripping their ear off and blaming that Mike Tyson did it. You know what I'm saying? I'll look when Mike Tyson bit my ear off. Nigga, your whole ear is gone. I know, man. That nigga's a savage. That nigga's a motherfucking savage, dog. All I wanted to do was ask him for a puff, for just a little hit, dog. That nigga ripped my shit off. Stop lying, nigga. You capping ass nigga. The fuck you doing? He was an idiot just like Blu-ray. They made it all about them. Hey, Showtime. Then Blu-ray said when he was with him, he was all knockouts, brother. It was all knockouts. He said it was all knockouts. That's all I'm saying. Blu-ray say when he was with him and he had him doing 8,129 and a half push-ups before he actually stepped in the ring to start his boxing training. Come on. That's when Earl was knocking dudes out, because Blu-ray had him on that extreme workout, that special forces knockout. Shout out to True Me Today USA Boxing Coach Malachi with the $5 super chat on deck. Appreciate you, Coach, for the donation, man. Thanks for supporting the channel, big dog. Continue to light the airways up every day at 3 o'clock p.m., 1500 military time. You know what I'm saying? NYT. I'm telling you, man. They got to start turning around looking for Mark. They need a qualified individual to throw in the towel. God damn it. Somebody make sure he has a ticket and put him up on the front row. Because if it's anybody that's qualified to throw in the goddamn towel, that's been on the highest level like this, it would be Mark. So what I'm going to do right now, I want to ask all of you to contribute to the GoFundMe. It's called the Go Find Me. I want to collect some money to go find him and pay for his expenses to sit down, because I know if anyone is qualified to throw that towel over the top rope, it would be the one and only. I'm gonna leave it like that. You know what I'm saying? Olympian to Olympian. You know what I'm saying? Hey, it's mad respect, dog. One Olympian to the other. I'm extending the olive branch, dog. Hey, dog, you was getting your ass beat. Hey, that's not what they taught us in the Olympics, dog. I'm throwing that motherfucking towel in, dog. I'm telling you, Olympian to Olympian. Am I lying? Am I lying, dog? Am I lying? Did that not, was that not that happen? Am I lying? I'm not lying on that shit, dog. Olympian to Olympian, right? Am I lying? I'm not lying, man. It's a code. You know what I'm saying? It's a code they live by, dog. Real talk. It's a code, bro. That's all I'm saying. It's a code. But hey, you know what it is? It's about that time, man. Just a little over 2 hours. You know what I'm saying? I hope none of you left the live stream to go to the streets to locate one of these strands. These are specifically WCS strands that I created. You understand? You won't find these in the street just yet. But the closer we get to the fight on July 29th, you will find these strands on sale. Real talk. These strains. I said strains. These strains will be on sale. Absolutely. And still, Omaha Monster, pound for pound #1, beat your ass, straightening, undisputed, switch hitter, uppercut, it's over, and that fish fry. See, the fish fry, that's one that you're gonna be able to relax, and you're just gonna be able to, talk and have fun and smile and joke. You know what I'm saying? So out of the ones that you see at fish fry, that's gonna be the least, erratic type of potency. You know what I'm saying? That's gonna get you right, calm, cool. You know what I'm saying? Carefree, just chilling. All the rest of the motherfuckers, I don't know what the fuck is happening now. For real, I can't tell you what's gonna happen. You take a hit of one of them. Seriously. But that fish fry, that shit gonna, you're gonna be able to see that, when we in Omaha, right? When Cam and Gooch get their fish on their plate, when they smoke that motherfucking fish fry, they're gonna be able to look at that fish and see what the fish was in its previous life. They're gonna be able to actually witness the relatives that the fish used to hang around, the parts of the water that it used to swim. That's how vivid that motherfucking fish fry gonna be. And then it's gonna take you all the way up to the time when that motherfucker was caught, filleted, and cooked. You understand me? That's what you're gonna get from that fish fry. Period. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. It's gonna take you to a whole replay of how everything used to be in life, up to the point where it was caught, filleted, and prepped, seasoned with that dry rub, and then thrown in the hot grease, baby. They're gonna be able to see all that, and it's gonna taste good. You know what I'm saying? So all the rest of them, if you're looking for trouble to turn up, that would be it. You know what I'm saying? That would be it right there. Until next time, man, y'all hold it down. Appreciate y'all supporting the channel. Mr. Gumbo, aka Hot Grease. True Media Today, USA Boxing, Coach Malachi. Everybody else that support the channel, Martin King. Appreciate everyone that tuned in. Shout out to Team Tucker. You know what I'm saying? July 1st, back on deck for another. You know what? I'm thinking about that. Hold up. I want to talk about that, right? I want y'all to check out an interview Because I remember me and Showtime, we was able to interview Jared Anderson when he fought in NYC, right? But he did an interesting interview that kind of gave me a little bit more insight as to why he act the way he do. And Jared Anderson is pretty in tune with himself, man. He say he's not boxing that long. He don't have that much left. Like, he's pretty much saying he's burnt out. I watched the entire interview with Fight Hub. Go check it out. He says he's burnt out. And anybody who's interviewed Jared Anderson, he's not really talkative. He's very short, straight to the point, and he'll just sit there and wait for you to, But this, hey, give it up for Fight Hub, man. He stayed around long enough to get him to break, open a little bit, speak a little bit more freely, bro. But he was talking about how burnt out he was, and he's like, hey, this is one of the fights that's going to be your homecoming. How do you think? But I said, I don't think nothing about it. He said, I already know how it is. He was pretty much saying, I already know how they're going to be. He feel the way he feels. Like, you can take that how you want to. He said, I already know how they're going to be. It ain't nothing, they're going to cheer for me or they not. It is what it is. So he feels some type of way. You know what I'm saying? And also he was talking about, having a small circle. He said he don't have friends like that. He has a somewhat like acquaintance. And he was just speaking about boxing in general, how he's not gonna let other people dictate what they see, what their vision is of him as a boxer, and him living up to the potential on the bar that they're setting for him in the sport. He may not be putting out, they may not believe he's putting out 150% to maximize his potential, but he say, I'm going to fight up to a certain point. Regardless, at that point, I'm stepping out of the sport. I'm going to do other things because I've been boxing all my life. He say he's missed a lot of birthday parties and everything like that. So that's where he was at with it, man. Like, he say, no, I'm burnt out, man. I'm tired of boxing. He say, I got no love for boxing. He said, I don't have no love for boxing. I don't have nothing to say to that, because boxing is a tough sport. And I know Adrian Broner's been on record several times along with other boxers say boxing is a lonely sport. Not too many people with you in the gym, going through all that pain you're going through. Not too many people are there for your recovery. But yeah, we can get up here and talk about it on the YTC, but are we truly there for the ride? Are we there for the journey? I mean, not too many people say they was there for the whole entire journey. But, shout out to Jared Anderson, man. Hope he gets some big fights. You know what I'm saying? And y'all go check out that interview. Appreciate y'all. Till next time, I'm out.